Good morning. This is Amanda from Miracles Fitness coming to you live from Lafayette. Today you are going to need a tennis ball or some sort of ball. Could be a lacrosse ball. This is technically a Rollga brand. It's called an Activator ball. You can get them on Amazon for about $6. So some sort of ball. We're going to be doing some release work to get started. I'm sure everyone's probably starting to ramp their workouts back up, getting back into the gym. So I just want to make sure that we've got kind of the releases or the stretches that you need to make sure you're still feeling good and healthy and as pain-free as possible. So good morning. I'll wait a few minutes just for everyone to join. But once again, if you're doing this workout later on, you need a lacrosse ball, tennis ball, ball of some sort. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, but make sure your dog knows it's not time to play. It's time to do some releases, okay? We're going to do a couple different spots. We're going to work on the feet, the calves, the glutes, and that will be probably the main three. If you have any other specific places that you're wondering, how can I use my tennis ball? Please comment below and we'll see if we can get you helped out. After we do some of the releases, we're also going to go into some isometric exercises. So meaning it's a hold contraction. So there's no shortening or lengthening of the muscle occurring. It's just like a plank, a bridge, one leg stand, some shifting. So a little lower key workout for you today, but everybody needs recovery at some point. And if you ignore some of the warning signs, so a little knee twinge or a little hip pain, it can become a really big issue 10 years down the road. So just want to make sure that everyone's staying loose and addressing some of those little aches as they come up before they become anything bigger. So when you got your tennis ball in hand, or hopefully you have it already, you may want like a chair or something that you can just sit on, because we're going to start down at the feet. So perhaps you've got plantar fasciitis, foot pain, cramps, maybe your feet cramp. So a foot release can be a simple way to help lengthen and loosen up the muscles in the foot and not be so tight and tense. It can actually also help with your balance. So what I want you to first just do is stand on your right leg and then stand on your left leg and just kind of march between the two. I want you to note what you feel, the differences between, notice how stable you feel, notice if you tend to roll onto the outside. So just notice all those little things about your feet, okay? We stand on our feet, we're on our feet all the time. We probably don't give them enough attention when it comes to release work. What we're going to do from here is we're going to take your tennis ball and we're going to go over 5 points in your foot. We're not rolling around, we're actually going to do just sustained pressure. So the ball will stay in one place. The 4 points I'm going to show you on my foot are going to be just above the heel on the inside, just below the big toe, not on the ball, but just below. Number 3 will be on the heel on the outside. Number 4 will be just below the pinky toe. And number 5 is going to be right in the middle of the foot. All right? So with your tennis ball, remember how your feet felt, okay? Because we want to test before and then after and make sure it's doing something positive for your body. So take a seat. Doesn't matter which foot you start with, we are going to do both, okay? So ball's going to come your ball is going to come under point number 1, which as I just pointed out is right above the heel on the inside of the foot. You're not trying to drill your foot into the ground. We're just trying to let your foot sink into the ball. You can kind of lean, you can kind of just sit upright, but don't, slouch, okay? So if you lean forward from your hips. So you should be able to see how my foot is just relaxing over the ball, but also that my heel is kind of dropping down. There's not a lot of space for the heel to drop, but I don't want you to be clenching your calf here. So just let your foot sink into the ball without pressing too hard. And then breathe. I've done the 3-dimensional breathing video. I want you to apply that here. So 3-dimensionally breathing, even sending that breath to your foot. So we're just trying to bring awareness to your muscles. A lot of times we do things really mindlessly. We just kind of rolling all over the foot. We're not really connecting our brain to what's going on or what we're trying to accomplish with the rolling. So So point number 1. Point number 2, we're going to move the tennis ball. You don't need to pick it up. Move the tennis ball to just below the ball of your foot and sink in there, press in there. So you're probably not going to sweat today, but you should be feeling a lot better after today's release work so that you can go into your next workout and get even more out of it. So recovery, remember, just as important, helps with the efficiency of your workout, helps your body work more, or it helps recruit the correct muscles better. So we're not just overtraining certain muscles, and helps you feel better. So a lot of good things about doing a recovery day or a release day. So letting that heel drop, letting the toes drop. You can hold here as long as you want. For the sake of the video, we're going to keep moving. So point number 3, we're just kind of above the heel, but on the outside of the foot. Don't worry about getting it perfect. If you're somewhere in that region, you're doing something probably pretty good for your foot. Toes relax over, heel drops down, and breathe. Checking in. What am I feeling? Remember how this side feels compared to the other. Okay, point number 4. Just below the pinky toe. So we're on the outside of the foot still. Just below the pinky toe, letting the foot sink in. If you're just joining, remember you need a tennis ball, and that's it. Pretty simple, and a chair. Something to sit on. You could do this standing, okay? Just make sure that you've got something to hang on to. I don't want you to have to worry about your balance here. We're just trying to really check in with the foot and releasing it. All right, point number 5. Smack in the center, right in the center of your foot. Sink in, you can lean over, and then just make sure you're breathing, letting those toes relax. If your foot starts to cramp here, you might be a little bit dehydrated. This also might be really good for you. However, don't try to do this while your foot's cramping. Let it recover first. You're breathing. Nothing should be tense, so make sure your calf is at ease, foot's pretty relaxed, other foot's relaxed. All right, good. Okay, now I want you to stand up, and I want you to notice what's going on between your feet. Notice your balance. Go into your single leg stand. Does the foot we just released feel a little bit different? Does it feel a little more grounded? Hopefully the answer is yes. Your foot should at least feel more relaxed than the other. Now we're going to match. So same thing, other foot. Point number 1, inside just above the heel. Feet can feel very different too. So if you do sense you've got one side that's got more problems or more issues than the other, that's where you're going to spend a little bit more of your time. Doesn't mean you can't do both, but a little bit more time on that trouble side. So we're breathing. All right, point number 2. So just below the ball of the foot, still on the inside, obviously. And sinking into that spot. Toes curl over the ball, heel drops down. Breathing. Even though this doesn't feel like you're getting a great workout, it's so important for your body to recover. So it's time well spent, even if you're not sweating. Good. Point number 3, just above the heel, we're now on the pinky side. So on the outside of your foot, sinking in, toes drop down. If you start to notice anything, comment below. Maybe I haven't mentioned what's going on for you. Comment below, see if we can get you help, get you some help or an answer. So feet are pretty interesting. A lot of our feet are now, the toes are going inward. They're kind of pointing inward, and they become more like a triangle at your toes. But really, we want our toes to be wide. We want our foot to actually be pretty wide, or as wide as your foot could be. And and not so narrow-footed. That shoes are a huge issue. Type of shoe, really, can be a huge driver in that. Okay, point number 4, just below the pinky toe, along obviously the outside of the foot, still breathing, okay? Making sure the other foot's still relaxed, so don't start to cramp up the foot we just released. Keep that pressed into the floor, keep it relaxed. And then point number 5, right in the middle of the foot, okay? These are not the only 5 points, but they're kind of your 5 kind of starting places for the foot. Heel stays relaxed, toes wrap over. You may even feel a stretch along the top of your foot. Nothing wrong with that. Whew, kind of tender right there. Good. All right, stand up. Now, how do your feet feel? They feel a little bit more equal? How does your one leg stand do? Ooh, that's a lot better for me. Little wobbly there. So you should notice a huge change in your single leg stance or in your just being able to stand on one leg right away just from doing some footwork. All right, so next you're gonna take your tennis ball. We're gonna do a release along kind of the back of the leg, the lower leg, and then we're gonna go into the glutes. So come on down to the floor or wherever you can get to. You do need a flat surface to be on. So you do not need something to sit on other than the floor. All right, so now what we're gonna do is take the ball along the middle of the calf. We're gonna start about 2 inches below the knee, and then we're gonna hit 3 points. So here's my knee crease, and we're gonna start right below, right in the middle, and work a couple points down. So this is typically pretty tender as well. All right, we're gonna do both legs, so, woo-wee. All right, so I'm on my right leg. I can cross my left leg over my right if I need a little bit more pressure. But then what we're gonna do, no matter what, is pump the foot. So toes come up, and then they point. Toes come up, and then they point. Make sure you're not just sitting really slouched, but nice, tall, seated position. And I want you to be able to feel your hip bones on the floor. Okay, a lot of times we sit on our tailbone. It can tuck the hips under, it can affect our hips. I want you to start noticing, how am I sitting? Am I sitting on my sits bones? They're called your ischial tuberosities, but that's what we actually want to be sitting on, not on our low back. Back to the calf. So pump the foot, add the other leg if you need the pressure. Things can be super tender here, so proceed with caution. We don't need more pressure if it's already pretty tender without the leg. And then certain spots get more tender, okay? So now we're gonna move the ball down about 1 inch, okay? We're hitting about 3 points. You could do 4 or 5, depending on your time, what time you have. But 3 is definitely sufficient to get a really nice release. What we're releasing is your gastrocnemius, your calf, your soleus, other part of your calf, and your posterior, your tibialis, okay? 3 can be problematic muscles in the lower leg. And we're still breathing. And we're still pumping that foot. Point the toes, pull the toes up. Point the toes, pull the toes up. Okay? Point number 3. All right? Kind of getting into that lower part of your calf. It might be really sensitive here, and it might not. That's okay. And we're still breathing. So the breathing is so important because it tells our brain that, hey, we can relax. It's okay to breathe a little bit deeper and slow down here. So that's the key with the breathing. It's not just to keep you alive. Well, it's that too. Nice. All right, let's switch legs. Okay, so starting on the other leg with the ball just below kind of that knee crease. And then cross the leg over if you want. Pumping the foot. Point the toes, pull up. Ooh, man. So sides certainly feel different for me. It's pretty common. So once again, when you do this on your own, you can spend a little bit more time on your tighter side. So releases like this are good to do daily, in the morning, the evening. And then make sure you're hydrating as you do this, or well, after you do this. All right, point number 2, bring the ball down about an inch. Ooh, and continue. Point the toes, pull the toes up. Once again, if you're cramping while you do this, take a break, let the cramp reside, and then come back into this. Okay, don't try to do this while you're cramping. And don't try to force the release. So once again, more pressure is not better, relatively speaking. So it does not need to be excruciatingly painful for you to get benefit from this. So if you don't need that extra leg, just be right here, and that's okay. So you want to make sure that you can still breathe and stay relaxed. Otherwise, your body's going to fight what's going on down there, and you won't really be spending your time well. All right, point number 3. So moving it down just a little bit more. And breathing. Pumping the foot still. Point the toes, pull the toes up. Point the toes, pull the toes up. Very nice. All right, and you can spend longer time there, but we're going to move into the glutes. We're going to do both hips. This is a little bit trickier, but you know where your tailbone's at, so you're going to find your tailbone on your backside, and you're going to start just to the left or right of the tailbone. And then we're going to work our way around to kind of the outer part of your hip. And that can be usually pretty tender. So we're just going to hit 3 points. We're going to move this along quick so that we can get into a few exercises today. So come back down. You can be, once again, on the floor with your ball. I'm going to start at least on my right hip. So I'm going to lift my hips up, find just to the outside of my tailbone, my sacrum, and then I'm going to sink into the ball, okay? You might not feel a whole lot here, and that's okay. That's okay. But let your glutes relax into the ball. So you should not be trying to squeeze your tush or tense anything. Notice how relaxed your feet feel. At least I notice. So hopefully yours are feeling that as well. Same idea, we're breathing here, 3-dimensionally breathing. So all of these releases I have learned from the Chicago Integrative Movement Specialists. So feel free to Google them. Great facility in Chicago. All right, move the ball kind of up and around to kind of the top edge of your hip. You should not be on the bone, but just below that top edge of your hips, your pelvis. So if you find your hip bones and then move the ball along that edge. If you can't find it, it's okay. Put the ball under your hips. You're probably going to find a tender spot. So, all right. And then our third point is more to the side.